I'm Dakota and I'm a member of the Republican Party.
I'm Sydney and I'm part of the Democratic Party.
I'm Jordan, I'm part of the Green Party.
I'm Curtis, I'm part of the Libertarian Party.
What are your opinions on gun control?
Well, as a member of the Republican Party, I think we should uphold the right of individuals to keep and bear arms. I think law-abiding citizens should be able to have firearms for self-defense in their homes.
I agree with the support of lawful ownership of firearms. However, I think that we should have policies that require background checks and the inclusion of a standardized gun safety course as a requirement for obtaining a gun.
I agree with my colleague on people should have the right to own guns, but there are very many restrictions, such as we should have background checks and require a photo license to buy and have a gun safety test to buy a new handgun.
I believe making gun ownership will not stop gun ownership, and I believe any American who believes they have the right should have their right to protect themselves, their family, and their property.
Also, I think gun control deprives citizens of their Second Amendment rights, and it invites the privacy of honest citizens.
While I do support lawful ownership of firearms, I believe that we should restrict police use of guns and all forms of control weapons. Restraining weapons and methods have been overused, and the states need to pass legislation that reduce and restrict police possession of use of such methods of control.
Also, I think that law-abiding citizens should have firearms for self-defense, and the fact that we have to have 10-round clips instead of 30-round clips and a pin to reload your magazine can really incriminate your self-defense if there's someone intruding in your home.
Well, we don't want criminals walking around 30-round clips and just walking in people's houses.
But also, a 30-round clip could be good for the American tradition of hunting, and they shouldn't be as hard to get.
I believe that if the criminals really want the guns, they can easily get them, and then the law-abiding citizens will have no defense against the criminals.
I agree. Gun control makes it so the law-abiding citizens can't get guns to protect themselves against these criminals who are getting guns illegally.
What are your views on taxation?
From a Democratic Party view, we want to cut taxes for every working family, but not the millionaires. And also, we want a tax code that rewards the work and creates wealth for more people, and not just hoards the wealth for people who already have it.
Well, as a Republican, I want to limit the top marginal rate because I believe it punishes those who have worked hard and invested well. They shouldn't be taxed more.
Well, if we cut taxes for more than 98% of Americans and only tax people that make over $200,000 a year, we could help families that face economic challenges, help them every day.
Well, I definitely reject the use of taxation to redistribute income and fund unnecessary and ineffective programs. I think it'll corrupt both politicians and corporations.
If we cut as many taxes as we can, it will make it easier to start new businesses and build new homes. And also, with less government and the lower taxes, you keep as much as you earn. And politicians spend millions of dollars to urge people not to smoke, and we could probably use that money to spend it on different stuff.
Yeah, I think that tax cuts and tax incentives without any balancing or spending cuts are definitely detrimental to the economy.
I think that we should have tax incentives to redistribute unbalanced wealth and create a sort of trickle-down economic system in order to have fair distribution. And if we simplify the tax system and eliminate loopholes and other exemptions, small businesses would not be penalized by a system that benefits those who can work the legislative tax committees.
We oppose on tax increase on the middle class families because they already are working hard enough and they shouldn't lose money just because they're middle class.
Well, I don't think that taxes should set classes against each other. I think it should be very similar.
But if the people who make more money, I think they should have more taxes because they already make enough, and people in lower class, they have to face issues like if they can even buy food for the day. So it's
But I don't think that people who have worked hard and invested well should be taxed more.
No, not more. Just they should be taxed the normal, and then people in lower class should not be taxed as much at least.
I As a Green Party member, I support the idea for a universal basic income for everyone that would be enough to afford the basic cost of living.
I definitely want for lower tax brackets to providing tax cuts for all, and I want to focus them on the lower classes and promoting charitable giving and education. So overall, Republicans do support a variety of tax cuts.
What are your opinions on drug legalization?
I believe that in order to put an end to the war on drugs, we need to legalize, regulate, and control drugs like cigarettes and alcohol. I oppose international drug trade, but call for the legalization and industrialization of hemp.
I think that we should stop further legalization of marijuana, which is clearly a social first step to widening the use of all illegal drugs.
But if we could tax marijuana on $50 an ounce, we could raise over $200 billion a year. And if we have pot growers with a federal permit in legalized states, then it would not be as much of a problem.
I believe all drugs should be legal and the laws don't stop the drug use. But as a libertarian, I believe that all of the Americans should be healthy and free of drug use, but the laws don't help it, but make things worse.
Well, I think just medical marijuana is a really sad and dangerous joke. For example, there's now an estimated 400,000 people certified by doctors in California to need medical marijuana to help with their pain. A large variety of actually legal medications, including prescription THC, are now available if you truly needed to manage pain and other illnesses.
Well, if we expand drug counseling and treatment, then that could help with the abuse of drugs like marijuana.
I agree, because if maybe we could provide one-time free withdrawal programs for alcohol, drugs, and narcotic addiction. Also, we could also develop a public or moral health campaign against the use of all illegal drugs, just as we did for smoking. This needs to be presented and championized by our national, state, and local leaders.
I believe people should make any decision they want, no matter whatever they put in their body. It's their decision and it's their body.
Well, if we make marijuana legal, it's just going to be a gateway to making all these other drugs easily available and maybe legal in the far future.
But if we regulate it, just like the consumption of alcohol, if you're 21 years and older and all this stuff, it would help, and it would still be illegal to move pot across the border, but it would be regulated more so it's not as much of a crime.
Well, smoking used to be very popular, and now people are starting to see the negative effects of it. We've done a lot of non-smoking campaigns, and I think that's just going to be the same thing with marijuana. We're going to legalize it, people are going to see it's bad, and then there's going to be no marijuana campaigns.
I think that legalizing marijuana is a great way to boost the economy by taxing it and regulating it, and I think that outweighs the downsides of it.
Well, also, people are making disability payments based on alcohol and drug addiction, and I think that we should definitely disallow that.
Half the cost of a law enforcement in prisons is wasted on drug-related crimes, but I don't think they're criminals because they don't really harm anybody, except for like the few of them. They are addicts who commit crimes daily. But
yeah, I think that we need to decriminalize victimless crimes and support innovative sentencing like community service.
Well, Jordan, I think that instead of creative sentencing, we should have these withdrawal programs to prevent further usage of these drugs.
Yeah, I support expanding drug counseling and treatment for people who abuse drugs like marijuana.
Yeah, I think that we should keep promoting the slogan "Just Say No" that began with smoking and should continue with this marijuana controversy.
Even though some people abuse the drug, I think that if we legalize it,
Well, if you're legalizing this drug, it's just going to be a gateway drug to abusing completely, just mind-altering substances that are very illegal right now.
Well, I believe they should be able to use it if they're inside their home and not harming anyone.
Well, they could potentially harm someone, and we don't have control over that if we're not controlling the drugs.
Well, we don't have really any control over it right now, so if we legalize it, I feel like we would have more control over it.
Well, we legalize it and regulate it, we'll be able to keep watch over drug users, and I think that we'll have more control over these people who are already using illegal drugs.
Well, I think there'll be far more users, and it's going to be a lot harder to control a wider population of users.
All right, folks, that'll be all for today. Thank you for your interview.
I'm Dakota,
I'm Sydney. I'm Jordan.
Curtis.
and this is signing off.